Have you ever experienced a wave of anxiety before leaving the house? Have you ever felt as though others were staring at, joking about, or laughing at you? If you feel so, this video is for you. We'll talk about how to handle this type of social anxiety today. Let's first discuss the purpose of social anxiety to get things started. Having it has a benefit, in fact. You see, social anxiety exists to shield us from being rejected. If we look in history, being rejected by the tribe back then was practically a death sentence. You therefore needed to pay particular attention to how others perceived you. You have to keep up a good name. Nowadays, this is not really the case because there are a lot more people and the world are much safer. Being rejected no longer means death, yet this trait has remained. People who struggle with social anxiety frequently experience constant judgment. Intentional biases, the psychological tendency that exists in humans to concentrate on certain things while disregarding others, are truly to blame for this. For instance, it can be challenging to think of anything else while you're hungry. When you are worried, it will be difficult for you to focus on anything but the notion that others are evaluating you. Your brain will be intensely focused on the social signals that are being sent to you, and you'll probably perceive them negatively. Fortunately, you have these 3 suggestions to help you solve the issue. The spotlight effect should be understood as a first tip here. Most people tend to think that others are paying much more attention to them than they actually are. The reality is that everyone believes they are being judged 100 times when, in fact, it may just be once or twice. By keeping this in mind, we may look at others and assume that they are likely considering themselves at the moment. You can remind yourself of this idea whenever you start to feel anxious outside. You can also have the opposite impact and develop into one of the few people who genuinely put others before themselves. This will give you an advantage in your future social interactions. If you want to improve your social skills, you should learn how to tell amazing stories. You now start to doubt the notions and presumptions that underlie your fear. Let's imagine that, as a perfectionist, you occasionally stutter during conversations with other people. Your thoughts are instantly consumed with the notion that you made a mistake and that this individual now holds less regard for you. You can employ cognitive restructuring in this circumstance by reminding yourself that everyone stutters occasionally and that the spotlight effect does exist. Because of the likelihood that this person was unaware of it, it's also wise to make every effort to be conscious whenever unpleasant thoughts enter your head. Write down some of them for the next time you go out. When you come home, then use cognitive rewiring to persuade yourself to prove which of these notions is untrue. For instance, if you frequently feel unwelcome at events, you can counter that by reminding yourself that someone must have wanted you to attend since they extended an invitation. You'll be able to view things differently after writing this out the following time you have a very bad notion outside. It's important to expose oneself to the worries you have. When you avoid a fear, your body and mind learn that it is terrifying and dangerous enough to flee from, which makes the fear bigger the next time you have to confront it. Conversely, if you confront your anxieties over time, your body will eventually come to the realization that it is not a life-threatening condition, and the level of anxiety you experience should gradually diminish. If your anxiety is extreme, you can start small here. You might begin by expressing gratitude to those who must engage with you on a regular basis, such as bus drivers and cashiers. Then you may move on to chit-chatting with random people who are nearby once you feel confident enough to do this without feeling anxious. You can gradually increase the number of interactions you have and the depth of these conversations over several months at a rate that you find comfortable, which should help you with your anxiety over time. An example of this would be making a comment while waiting in a queue for anything. Thank you for watching and have a fantastic week. If you believe this video has added value to your understanding of life, please like and subscribe to the channel for more life-changing content.